To welcome in Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis. Chief Davis, we really appreciate you joining us today. We really value having you in studio.
Thanks for having me again, Simone. I'm having a decent hair day in
Yes,
the breeze,
I know.
but a little windy out there.
At least one of us is, right? Okay, I wanted to just dive right in because there's a lot going on. And so earlier this month, we know that there were 10 recent reports of bank jugging. So it's something where robbers essentially target people who have just withdrawn money at local banks. And I know, is there some advice that you would give, in terms of protecting yourself from becoming a victim?
Sure. So the term jugging really got its start about 10 years ago when perpetrators were targeting women who were pumping gas at gas stations, and they would jug or hustle or steal or rob purses from women in gas stations. So now it's kind of 2023 version is to follow persons, not just women, but men and women who appear to withdraw a large amount of money either from an ATM machine or inside of a bank. And typically the perpetrators will follow that person who's typically by himself or herself to another location and then steal or rob the money.
Okay, scary. No matter how you cut it, it's unnerving. So
Absolutely.
Glad to know you guys are on top of it. I wanted to talk to, a couple of weeks ago, a grand jury indicted Sergeant Wesley Shiflett in a deadly shooting of Timothy Johnson, right? So he was suspected of stealing sunglasses from Tyson's Corner. I wanted to talk about, we understand you have limited ability to comment on this, but what can you say about this particular case, and what's your message, to other officers when they encounter a fleeing suspect?
So sure, Simone. Actually, I've said a lot about this, and if you or others recall, 29 days after this incident, I separated this former police officer from the Fairfax County Police Department. Since then, a grand jury of Fairfax County citizens has decided at a special grand jury that the former officer committed a crime. So he's since been indicted. But what we've done as an agency in the meantime is we've really enhanced our training with foot pursuits. So now, for the first time ever, we collect foot pursuit data. And that data informs our training, and I think we already have world-class training in Fairfax County. So the fact that we now collect data regarding the circumstances of foot chases, when they occur, why, for what crime, the environmental conditions, et cetera, it puts us in a better position not to have a negative outcome. So it's actually making us better. And all of our foot pursuit training, Simone, is scenario based. And that's something new in Fairfax County.
Okay, I wanted to talk too about, you recently made an arrest in the February killings of a man and a woman at a home in Herndon. This story has been trending. It's something that a lot of you at home are talking about. We now know that the nanny has been charged with murder. Tell us a little bit about the work that's going into, handling this case, resolving this case. What do you want people to know?
So Simone, I was at the scene back in February of 2023, and I got the impression very early on in that investigation that there was a lot more at stake here. And since then, our detectives have been working diligently. They've partnered with the prosecutors in the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office, and at the moment we have charged the au pair with second-degree murder. The case, Simone, is far, far from over, and there will be additional developments in this case. It's complicated, it's relationship-based, but ultimately it's very tragic for the two persons who lost their lives. And if you remember, or your viewers remember, there's a 4-year-old child who I think is now 5, who is also a member of that family. So very sad, very tragic, but folks who commit crimes need to be held accountable for those crimes. So far, we've charged one with second-degree murder, but the case is still very active. All
right. I wanted to talk about, on a lighter note here, this is something that we saw on Twitter, but after a 3-car crash, your Fair Oaks officers stepped up big. They saved the day, getting an officiant to a nearby wedding. Can you kind of talk about that? Because that's kind of a fun moment for y'all.
It's always good to have some news like that to share, especially after my football team lost yesterday, and they're now 3-4. We had a police major by the name of Fred Chambers, and he was out at that crash scene with several officers from our Fair Oaks district, and they quickly discovered that one of the persons involved in the crash was on his way to officiate a wedding, and the clock was ticking.
Sure.
And they were within the 2-minute drill, so he really needed to get there. I'm sure, or I can only imagine that there's 2 sides to the wedding party that are waiting for him to arrive. So we actually, after we made sure that he was okay and everyone else was okay, we put him in a police car and got him to that
Aw,
wedding
love to hear
on
that.
time. So
That's
that's
amazing.
good. I think that bodes well for that marriage.
It's good for the wedding day, right?
good
It's
luck.
good luck.
It's
We'll
good
take
omen.
it. Chief Davis, thank you again for your time. We certainly appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
All right, we'll see you next month.